Hey y'all, welcome back to Bees and Blossoms. Taking you along with me really quick in the car. I have to go renew my tag. So I'm on my way to go renew my tag right now. And I just thought I would catch you guys up. We're really busy. So we have been keeping bees since 2016. And the first nuke that I bought, I lost. It absconded. And I took a beekeeping class before I got into beekeeping. I went and I sat for a 2-day class with a member of our local beekeeping association. And I just jumped right in. I just wanted to do it. I wanted to keep bees. So I found somebody who had a nuke, which is a nucleus hive. It is basically, it's a full hive. It's 5 frames. And it has a queen, it has worker bees, it has drones, it has brood, and it has food stores. So it's an established hive. It's just 5 frames. And I paid way too much money for this nuke. He definitely price gouged me. And I didn't have a queen. I could not find a queen in that nuke. Which he did get me a virgin queen, which she went out and she had her mating flight and she came back. So I did end up having a queen in that hive, and it grew. I didn't get any honey, but it did fill up 2 deeps with brood, and I was able to do some splits, which I probably shouldn't have done. But whatever, it was my first year beekeeping, and I just was excited. I just wanted to do it. So then it absconded. In 2017, I bought a package of bees. I think I bought 2 packages. I don't remember. And long story short, I actually treated for varroa. I went and got hive beetle traps, and it's still absconded. And I'm like, crap. So the first year, 2016, they charged me $265 for that nuke. The second year, I paid $125 for the package of bees. Plus you have to buy the equipment and all of the gear and the smoker and the hive tool and all of this stuff to even work the hive and keep them. Okay. Well, that's a lot of money when you're a family of 5 and you're raising 3 kids to spend to me on a hobby, because that's what it essentially is to me. It's just something I enjoy doing. And then I talked to my dad, and he was like, why don't you just catch them? I'm like, okay. We joined a hunting camp, and we built these trap boxes. And I did my research on how to bait them. And I used my doTERRA lemongrass oil, and I put it, we put them up. I kind of researched where you need to put them and what you need to look for. When we put our traps up, I mean, you can put a trap out anywhere, but what I like to look for, especially on the hunting campgrounds, is a water source and pollinating flowers, and then a marker of some kind, because bees will use landmarks to travel. So like a very tall tree that sticks up higher than the other trees, or a path, a cut trail, something like that. A creek, follow the path of the creek. So that's what we did, and we just found a tree, and we're like, okay, this looks like a good spot. And we put one trap up, and we caught bees. And brought them back, and that was my first, it was 2018, that was the first time I ever had bees actually make it through the winter and into spring, and we got a little bit of honey off of them. And then the next year we put out more traps and we caught 2 swarms. And so we have been putting out bee traps. That's how we get our bees. We catch them. We don't buy them any longer. So we're either splitting our own hives or we're trapping swarms. A swarm is the hive's old queen. What happens is the main hive gets overpopulated and the new queen is like, okay, wait, I don't have any room in here. It's time that we split up and go find a new home. So when she starts getting ready for that, she communicates that to her scout bees, which are just worker bees that have this job of going out and scouting new locations. And they'll go out and they'll look for places, kind of like we go on the real estate market, and they look for places that they think would be a good fit. And there's key things that they're looking for. Number 1, they're looking for a void. Number 2, they're smelling for previous bee occupation. So old beeswax, remnants, even a remnants of it. So if you had a swarm that took up residence in your house and you did not get all of that beeswax out of that void and you did not backfill it with insulation or foam fill or something, they're gonna come back. You're gonna have bees that are gonna come back to that area and they're gonna smell the pheromones from that previous queen, and they're going to smell the wax and they're gonna see that void and they're gonna be like, oh, this is perfect. We should move in here. And that's essentially what they look for. So what we're doing with our traps is we're fulfilling all of those 3 key elements that they're looking for. We put in old comb already in the frame. Old brood comb is the best, and they don't even care if it's wax mothy, and they don't care if it's got like mold or mildew on it, because they will come in and they will clean all of that up. Actually, the older and dirtier, the better for your swarm traps. We build boxes with a void in between those frames and the bottom of the box. We do a minimal entrance, and then the lemongrass oil mimics the scent of the queen pheromones, and that's how we trap our hives. So when these scout bees go out and they're looking for that, we supply that to draw them in. So one bee will come and find it and they'll be like, oh, this looks good. So they'll come back to the hive and they'll do their little waggle dance, which is actually giving the coordinates of that location that they think would be good to the other scout bees who are also looking. So now she's going to come back with some friends and they're going to go in and they're going to check it out. And then they're going to come back to the hive and they're going to tell more bees. And then they're going to go with a bigger group and they're going to go check it out. And then they're going to come back, and eventually, once they have a collective agreement that that's where they want to move, then that's when they are going to swarm. And it's the already established queen who leaves the hive and swarms with a portion of the worker bees. The remaining bees, either one, have queen cells already in there because the queen has laid eggs and they know that she's going to leave, so they've already started making those queen cells, which are also known as swarm cells, so that they can have a new queen once the old one leaves. And a queen is essential because she's the only one that can lay viable eggs. If you ever get a laying worker in there, they're very messy. They lay a bunch of eggs in one cell, and those will never, ever, ever, ever be female bees. They will always only be drones. So the queen bee is the only one who can lay viable worker bees and drones. And she has the ability to decide what she's laying where. Also, the size of the cell that the bees build determines the sex of the bee, and then also how they feed them, and everything goes into that as well. So the whole gist, I guess, of my little story here is we got to get our swarm traps out. I'm late. I am late on getting them ready. I'm late on getting them out. Usually I want them out already. we're usually trying to get up there at probably about last week or the week before to get them baited. We're in Florida, and we have technically passed our official last frost date, and beekeepers are already making their splits and doing their nukes and preparing their bees for packaging. And bees are already out looking for that new location. So you want your trap out before they decide to swarm, because you want your trap out and up and baited so that the searcher bees find your hive, or your swarm trap, and decide to move there. So you have to have it out in a certain amount of time. So we're a little bit late on getting those out. I think they're going to go up this weekend so that we can get them hung, and that way we can at least have them up by March, because they're going to start swarming around March or April. They should be searching now already. So I got to get the traps out. I got to get them cleaned up. I gotta get the frames in them, and I have to find my lemongrass oil, which if I can't find it, it might have burnt in the fire. I'm just gonna go get some from GNC, and you don't have to spend a lot of money on it. It's literally just the smell of it that draws them in, so that they can take the traps out and get them baited. So I'm going to show you my trap hives. We're gonna get them set up with frames, and that way they're ready to go when they head up to get them hung and baited. Other than that, it's also time to look at our 4 hives and check how many bees we have in there, check for swarm cells, and start looking at doing splits of our own. Because all of my hives just a few weeks ago had really, really, really high population, and they looked really good. And it's hot here. Temperature today is 72 degrees. We are in February and it's 72 degrees. That's not to say that we're not going to get another cold snap anytime soon. We possibly could. We've had freezes in March. But typically, when we have those freezes, it warms up fairly quickly afterwards, and the bees can live through a few nights of cold. Like, we're not like those northern states where it freezes. We have a temperate climate zone, and it just doesn't. We're in Florida. So, that's my little educational video on how bees swarm, and we'll be getting those swarm boxes ready when I get home. Like I said, right now I gotta go get this tag renewed, and then we're gonna get the swarm boxes and get them cleaned up and set up, and I'll show you basically how we have built them. So thanks for hanging out with me on this drive up here, and I hope you liked my little introduction to how we catch bees and why we catch bees instead of buying them. That's not to say don't go get them from a local beekeeper. When you do that, you're gonna have bees that have already been treated for varroa. You're gonna have a healthy bee, and you're gonna know exactly what variety you're getting, where when you go trap them, you don't know really what you're getting until you get in there and look. Typically it's Italians, but it could be Russians, it could be Caucasians, which is what we believe that we have been trapping as Caucasians because of the amount of propolis that they produce. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me on the drive, and keep watching, like and subscribe. I'm still putting together the giveaway. Every time I get seeds, I always keep buying more and more of the same stuff. So my giveaway package is getting bigger, just trying to hit that 100 subscribers. So if you know anybody who's interested in beekeeping or backyard gardening, share our videos and spread the word. So thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.